viewers, welcome to CEC lecture. Myself Dr. Preeti Jagwani, I am Assistant Professor from Department of Computer Science, Aryabhat College, University of Delhi. Today's topic is potential method. As you all are aware that we have covered a lot about amortized analysis, including two of its techniques, which is aggregate analysis and accounting method, in quite detail. And we have in our previous lectures we have begun with the third technique, which is potential method, and with that we have also seen one example, which is multipop stacks. That is what we have till this point we have covered in our previous lectures. So in this lecture we are going to explore some more examples of potential method, of amortized analysis using potential method. Before starting the lecture formally, let me have a quick recap of what actually potential method is. So in accounting method, if you remember that we represent prepaid work as the credit stored with specific objects in the data structure. For example, in stacks we are going to use it with store it with numbers, or if a stack is of plates we are going to use it store it with plates. But in potential method, the amortized analysis is potential method of amortized analysis represents the prepaid work as the potential energy, or we can say it as just potential, and that potential is associated with the whole data structure rather than being associated with the specific objects. So here the potential is going to be associated with the stack, not with the elements of the stack. And this prepaid credit, we can say, or this prepaid work can easily be released to pay for future expensive operations. That's what the basic behind amortized analysis is. So in potential method, we are going to define a function. We are going to define a function which is more commonly known as the potential function and represented by the letter phi. This potential function maps a data structure onto a real valued, which is that real value has to be a non-negative number. And in this potential method, the amortized cost of a particular operation, let us say amortized cost of a particular ith operation, is going to be equals to the actual cost plus increase in potential due to that operation. And amortized cost of any ith operation with respect to potential function, which is denoted by phi, as I told you, is defined by Ci hat is equals to Ci plus phi of di minus phi of di minus 1. Now let us understand what actually is this. So Ci hat is the amortized cost of ith operation, Ci is the actual cost of ith operation, phi of di is the potential function associated with the whole data structure D after ith operation, and phi di minus 1 is the potential stored with the whole data structure D at I minus 1th operation. So the difference of the potentials taken place, that means the potential before ith operation and potential after ith operation, that potential difference will be taken, and it is summed up with the actual cost, and the whole statement or the whole we can say expression gives us the amortized cost of ith operation. This is what we can say kind of established definition, or we can say established expression for our potential method or potential function, or how are we going to perform the analysis in that potential function, that we have a standard. Now let us explore this whole potential method of amortized analysis using the example of a binary counter. So if you remember the example of binary counter, as we have taken in other two techniques also, which are aggregate and accounting method, we have taken a binary counter of k bits and what are we going to do? That binary counter is supporting one operation, and that one operation is an increment operation. Now, here we want to analyze the amortized cost, or we want to calculate the amortized cost of a sequence of n increment operations. So, here sequence is important because we are not bothered about a single increment operation, we are focusing upon a sequence of n increment operations. So, analysis, or we can say calculation of amortized cost for a sequence of n increment operations, that is what we are going to do for that binary counter, and the technique here which we are going to opt for is the potential method. So, in potential method, the we can say the terminology goes the same. We are going to define phi, which is the potential function. While defining the potential function, we need to be very careful that phi of d n is greater than equals to phi of d 0 for all n. What does it mean? Basically, this shows that the potential at the initial stage is going to be less than or equals to the potential of all other states of the data structure. So, how this point is going to help us in potential analysis? So, for this, by ensuring that phi of d n is greater than equals to phi of d 0. So, that is the potential of the data structure at nth operation and potential of data structure at the initial state, which is 0th operation. We can say we are going to get for all operations the actual cost is less than equals to the amortized cost for all operations. So, for all operation here means aggregate of or we can say sum of actual cost for all operations where I is ranging from 1 to n, and we are representing actual cost with C I. So, that summation of I is equals to 1 to n C I is less than equals to summation of I is equals to 1 to n C I hat, where C I hat is the amortized cost. So, basically what are we trying to say here? The bottom line by this expression is the amortized cost of a sequence of operations, because I am talking about the operations I is equals to 1 to n. So, the amortized cost of a sequence of operation is going to upper bound the real cost, because a real cost for n operation less than equals to amortized cost for n operations. So, amortized cost of a sequence of operation upper bounds the real cost. That is what we can say basic fundamental idea here. And then we need to determine the potential of the counter after ith increment, or we can say after every increment we need to determine the potential of that counter. Now, let us assume that, or let us try to fix up the terminology for the further analysis. Potential of the counter after ith increment is denoted by Bi, and this Bi is nothing but it is the number of ones in the counter after ith operation. So, basically my counter is having the potential which is equals to the number of ones in that binary counter, and that number of ones is what the count of ones after performing that ith operation is. So, basically potential of the counter is denoted by Bi, I in the you can say subscript, where Bi denotes the number of ones in the counter after the ith operation. Now, one thing which is remarkable here is this number of ones is not going to be negative at any point of time if we are considering the binary counter. Either it could be 0, there can be a situation where no one is not a single one is present in the counter, that is perfectly fine, but this number cannot be negative. So, potential function is denoted by number of ones in the counter after ith increment. That is what we have fixed for potential function. And as already discussed in the initial lecture of potential analysis or potential method of amortized analysis, choice of potential function is actually a very important concept in analyzing any sequence of operation where we want amortized analysis, and if it is to be done using potential method, the choice of potential function, that what potential actually you are fixing up, is very important. So, here just to recall that what actually the binary counter looks like. So, counter value is given in the first column, it is going from 0 to 16. So, if you can mark here that the counter value at 0 is having all the k bits, all the 8 bits as 0, and this is not having even a single 1. So, that is okay, but it is not negative. Negative number cannot be there for representing number of ones, and you have some such counter. So, every time one increment is happening and counter value is going from 0 to 1, then a bit is flipped, and then when it is going from 1 to 2, again some bits are flipped, and then it is going to 3, and there is kind of a different representation for 3. So, that is we have this the standard counter, and this we have explored in detail in our previous we can say previous methods or previous lectures also. So, coming directly to the analysis of amortized cost of a single of an increment operation. Let us try to analyze it for a single increment operation, and then we will see how it goes to how it goes for the sequence of increment operation. Now let us consider that the ith increment operation is going to reset some bits, and that number of bits which it is resetting is Ti. So, the actual cost of operation, actual cost, right. So, the actual cost of the operation is going to be at most Ti plus 1. Now, why this plus 1 here? Because in addition to resetting Ti bit, it is going to set at most 1 bit to 1. So, the actual cost is going to be Ti plus 1. Now, this Ti plus 1, how it is affecting the number of ones in the counter after the ith operation. So, if we can see carefully, we can we can conclude that number of ones in the counter after the ith operation is going to be what? Is going to be what it was before the ith operation minus Ti plus 1, because Ti bits, it is in a way resetting, and it is setting at most 1 bit. So, we have added 1 for that, and whatever the earlier number of bits were there, that is going to be there. So, the number of ones in the counter after the ith operation, which is denoted by Bi, is equals to Bi minus 1. Bi minus 1 is representing the number of ones in the counter before the ith operation. So, that means at I minus 1th stage, after I minus 1th operation and before ith operation, the number of ones in the counter is Bi minus 1, and within that ith operation, what change in the number of ones is being is taking place is, it is that ith operation is resetting the Ti bits. So, we can say minus Ti, because those bits are being reset to 0. So, they are no more into counting of ones. So, Bi minus 1 minus Ti and plus 1, that plus 1 is because it is going to set at most 1 bit to 1. So, we have B I is equals to B I minus 1 minus T I plus 1. That is the expression we are having here. But one thing which is worth noticing here is your B I is less than equals to B I minus 1 minus T I plus 1 for both the cases, when my B I is equals to 0 or B I is equals to is greater than 0. So, when number of bits number of ones in the counter is equals to 0 at ith operation, it is 0, then you can say at I minus 1th operation, that means before ith operation, this was equals to the number of we can say size of the your counter thing, which is k. Now, let me elaborate it more. So, basically what I am trying to say is consider the situation when your let us say you have a 8-bit counter and you have all the bits set as 1. So, all the bits set as 1, and after one increment what is happening? The counter is going to reset to 0. So, all ones will be converted to all zeros. So, B I is going to be 0. So, B I is representing the number of 1 bits after ith operation, and ith operation is in a way resetting the counter. So, after resetting the counter, we have all bits as 0. So, before resetting that counter, that means B I minus 1 is equals to T I or is equals to k, where k is the size of the counter. So, this you can say if you have kind of we can say 4 bit counter. So, we have 1 1 1 1 at all the 4 bits, and we have asked for one more increment, and that increment has resulted into the resetting the whole counter, because it is a 4-bit counter, and now we have 0 0 0 0 and all the bits. So, that is the situation that I am talking about. So, before ith operation, all the potential is equals to k, where k is equal where k is 4 in the example which I am telling, and after ith operation, when the counter has been reset, that B I is equals to 0, because now no bit is 1, all the bits are 0, the counter has been reset. So, that is one thing. So, we can easily say that B I is less than equals to B I minus 1 minus T I plus 1. So, that is the thing which is going for both the situations. Now, let us consider a situation where B I is not equals to 0. So, if B I is not equals to 0, it must be greater than 0, because negative situation is anyways not happening here. So, B I is greater than 0, then you can say my B I is equals to B I minus 1 minus T I plus 1. That is a straightforward case. So, for both the situation, when B I is equals to 0 and when B I is greater than 0, we have B I always less than equals to B I minus 1 minus T I plus 1. So, that is the case, that is the thing which holds for both the scenarios. Now, please recall that in potential analysis, what are we focusing upon? We need to we can say what we need to calculate the potential difference, and that potential difference when being added with kind of the actual cost, it is going to give me the amortized cost. So, basically amortized cost is equals to actual cost plus difference in potential. So, how are we going to find out this difference in potential? It is very simple. So, difference in potential here is B I minus B I minus 1. So, B I is the potential we can say, or yes, potential after ith operation, and B I minus 1 is the potential before ith operation, and this B I minus B I minus 1. So, if you can see the last thing which I told, that is B I is less than equals to B I minus 1 minus T I plus 1. So, here in this expression we have replaced B I with the term given in the bracket, which is bi minus 1 minus ti plus 1, and we have kept bi minus 1 as it is. So, what is happening? The term bi minus 1 is getting cancelled, and finally, we are getting the term which is minus ti plus 1. So, the potential difference for one increment operation in which the stage of, or the potential difference after ith operation is bi, and before ith operation it is bi minus 1, it is, we can say, 1 minus ti. So, if we want to calculate amortized cost, what is left? We have the potential difference, and we are also aware of the total cost. So, total cost, if you can recall, we have calculated it as ti plus 1, where ti bits are being reset, plus at most 1 bit can be set, and this is the condition when we are saying at most 1 bit could be set. So, here we have written it as less than equals to, because that is the maximum term, which is ti plus 1 for the actual cost, and the second term, which is bi minus 1, is representing the potential difference, which is just calculated above. So, we have ti plus 1 as the actual cost and minus ti plus 1 as the potential difference calculated in the same slide. So, we finally we have cancellation of ti terms, and we are ending up with a constant 2. So, amortized cost for one particular operation, increment operation, is actually 2. Now, basically this is what? This is a constant. Now, assume a situation where my counter is starting at 0, then the potential which is stored or which is associated with the whole data structure, as that is the potential which we are taking into account at the initial stage, that is denoted by d of 0, and that d of 0 is 0 because I have told you that counter is starting at 0. So, when my counter starts at 0, d of 0 is equals to 0, and for every other stage I, if I am talking about d of I, that d of I is greater than equals to 0. So, either the number of ones, either there could be positive number of ones, or there could be no number of ones at max. So, for other stages d I, this could be greater than equals to 0 for all I, we can say. For the stages other than d0, it is greater than 0. For stage 0, for stage d0, it is 0. So, generally, on a general note, without loss of generality, we can say d of I greater than equals to 0 for all I. So, what does it mean? This essentially we can say denotes that total amortized cost of sequence of n increment operation is going to be an upper bound on the total actual cost, and so the worst cost of n increment operations is order n. So, we have seen the for one increment operation it is we can say 2. So, 2 here is a constant. So, the worst case we can say for n increment operation is order n. So, basically here we have seen how are we going to analyze the increment operation or a sequence of increment operations for a particular binary counter using potential method. But please recall that this exercise we have already done using a similar exercise in the sense here I am talking about amortized analysis of a binary counter for the operation of increment. So, this we have already done using aggregate method and using accounting method. So, is there any kind of we can say advantage if we are using potential method? So, the answer here is yes. Potential method is going to give an easy way to analyze a counter even when the counter does not start at 0. This facility is not available for the other two techniques. That means the counter, if it is not starting at 0, the other techniques will not be able to give an easy way to analyze the amortized cost. So, when counter does not start at 0, we can say there are some number of ones which is denoted by B0, and after increment n increment operations, this B0 ones will be equals to Bn ones. So, ones have been incremented, and now we have Bn ones, where B0 is always greater than equals to 0 and Bn is always less than equals to k. So, here is an advantage of potential method too, that it is giving us an easy path to analyze the counter even when my counter is not starting from 0. For all we can say I, which is ranging between 1 to n, we have amortized cost less than equals to 2, and D0 is equals to B0 and Dn equals to Bn. So, the total cost for n increment operations, if we can put all these terms into the expression, we have the aggregate cost of actual cost for n operations is less than equals to the aggregate cost of n operations plus the potential difference, which is minus Bn plus B0. So, here we are going to have one term which is 2n minus Bn plus B0. That is what the term for n increment operations of actual cost, and since my B0 is always less than equals to k, and if we execute at least n equals to omega k increment operations, the total cost is order n, no matter what the initial value the counter contained. So, here is a flexibility which a potential method is giving us. So, in this lecture we have explored the idea of potential analysis for a sequence of n increment operations for a particular binary counter, and we have established, we have calculated the whole amortized cost for these operations. Hope you have enjoyed the lecture. Thank you for patient hearing.